What is this?
Okay, you're on page Kuf Nun Vov, and I want to start and repeat 2 lines from the end of the top section. The line begins with the words Ha'ora, and we go to the middle of the line. It begins with the word Habitu. Ready? We speak about the effect of the presence of Ak, of Odom Kadma, Shom Agdum the Ak, in every Yid. Shom Agdum the Ak, Odom Kadmon, is actually a makif quality. Makif, we already discussed, is that which emanates directly from the Etzem without any kind of retranslation or representation. As for example, just like as a human thought, the seichel of the person, which emanates from his neshama, from his sense of what's true, without putting it into words, putting into some kind of a structure of order, the way it is in his own deep thought. The sense of right and wrong, as it is in the neshama itself. This is Ak, Odom Kadmon. This is where the Lakus is expressed on the thought level. In this thought, since this thought is there as a result of the divine intent of creation, thus this thought contains the entire content of the creation. In this thought itself, there is the pnimius and the chitzenius. I'm not going to go into that discussion right now. We already digested it. Pnimius is that which pertains to the Neshamas Yisrael. They represent the pnimius of Ak. And the world, the entire creation, they all have a cognizance of the Creator, and they all have a sense of beetle to the Creator. But by them it is only a sense of beetle, which is chitzenius of this Ak. This whole discussion of the top section, the end of the top section, focused on understanding the Inyan V'Ak, but at the end, principally understanding how Ak is affects in the Neshamas Yisrael. Because Ak is anything from Makif. Makif, we said, remains in its own orientation. It's not mislabish. It cannot be represented in any kind of a form, a content. Neshamas Yisrael relate to the Makif as it is in its source. From this Makif also, there's an effect on the rest of the creation, where there is a sense of beetle in the creation in general. However, in the creation in general, it is the chitzonius of this makif. All the Nivroim had a sense of beetle. But it is chitzonius. The Shamis Yisrael have the sense of beetle. Funny, have the sense of relation, the pneumius to the South. The difference between the beetle of all the Nivroim and the pneumius as in Shamis Yisrael we see it is the beetle of the Nivroim and effectuates in the Nivroim the sense they primarily they're involved in themselves, pursuing their own worldly interest. But they have a beetle, they have a recognition that in order to succeed in the world, they have to have the input from a higher source. But the input of a higher source is for the sake of maintaining their worldly presence, rather than to give them some kind of a uplift and sense of a higher meaning. The Shamis Yisrael is pneumius, and thus the Shamis Yisrael, their relationship to Ak is that which connects them and relates them to Ak, raises them out of the world, and gives them a sense of a superior, of a godly sense and meaning in their pursuit. This is what we concluded in the top section on page Kuf Nun Vav. Now we go to the next section. Furthermore, we can understand Inyan, the principle. What is the effect of Ha'or as Bechinas Ak, the Ha'or of the Bechina of Ak, Shebekol Echad Ve'echad Mi'Yisrael, as it is reflected in every Yid. The principle of Ha'or we discussed. Ha'or essentially means, like we gave the very simple illustration of Ha'or, very important to understand what Ha'or is. We have the sun. The sun is something is an etzem of light. We cannot benefit. The world cannot benefit directly from the etzem of light of the sun. As we pointed out, we cannot process that kind of light. It blinds us to a worldly, to recognizing things in the world. Interesting, I had this experience last night. I was coming home in the evening. When you drive eastward in the evening, when the sun is on the west, or the opposite, you drive westward in the evening, the sun is on the west, then you are facing directly into the sun. You should be able to be wonderfully clear. It's impossible.
I didn't hear what you said. You're driving west.
I'm driving from Long Island to Brooklyn. I'm driving westward.
Yeah.
Facing the sunset.
I'm driving westward in the evening.
And the sun.
So the sun is
in front of you.
The sun is in the west. So it's impossible.
To see.
I had many blind moments.
Yeah, because you can't see.
Mama's blind moments. Yeah. So the union that comes from the Neshama soil is not directly the oil itself. It's called the ha'ora. Ha'ora is not is the illumination as it is affected externally. Like sunlight, when is it beneficial? When you have a ha'ora of it. Not direct beam. And this is what we're talking over here about Ak. Ak illuminates Neshama Yisrael, the whole world actually, and Neshama Yisrael primarily. The whole world is V'chitzenius. They have a beetle. Neshama Yisrael, they get the inyan for Ak V'pnimius. But it is the ha'ora of Ak. The ha'ora means the effect, the illumination of it rather than the light itself. Okay, now we're in the bottom section of page Kuf Number. So the Rebbe asked a question earlier. It cannot be that there is this oil of Ak Odom Kadmon, of the oil Machshava Akduma, and there is no reflection of it in the world. Has to be that it is actually given in a manner that the world will be able to also process, particularly Neshama Yisrael. So we explained that the Neshama Yisrael actually are receiving it, b'pnimius. And the Neshama Yisrael are thus because of the effect of Odom Kadmon, how it affects the Neshama Yisrael, they have a unit. They unite with Pnimis, with Holocaust. The rest of the world only has the beetle, whereas the Yisrael have the union that they unite with Holocaust. Now in the bottom section. Another inyan that can be understood, inyan ha'oras b'chinas ak, the principle ha'ora of the ak element, shebekolech od ve'echad mi'Yisrael, as it is effective, how it is manifest in every yid. The bechina of ak on a subset level ha'ora, deep down in the neshama, is very effective, and it gives the neshama a certain approach, a certain stance, which not necessarily it can identify and recognize what it has, but nonetheless, in the factual sense, it has it. This is how it pursues its activity. Where is it to be identified? The union of Ak in every Yid. Where can you tell that there is a union of Ak inherently deep down in every Yid, in every Nishom? Shehu inyan, that this is the union of Hakdomas Nase Lenishma. The Neshama Yisrael have this capacity of Hakdomas, of preceding Nase, the principle of Nase, of following through and doing what is desired that it should be done. Lenishma, before it was even presented to them, before it was even revealed to them. Nisha means I can hear. I hear. I understand what you're saying, and now once I understand, I know what I have to do. But the Neshama Yisrael, there is the Yin Hagdama, that they are prepared to fulfill the will, the divine will, before they know that there is a divine will. They have this this sense that they are waiting and expecting to be directed as to what their duty and their purpose is. They inherently sense that there is a divine purpose in their presence, without being told, without being revealed. This is inherent in the neshama. And thus the neshama is actually anticipating, okay, when is it coming? This is Hakdomas Nasa v'Nishma. The rest of the world, excuse me, orient itself within itself. I'm quite satisfied. I am who I am. And I can stand, so to speak, on my own 2 feet. Shomei Yisrael have inherently the union of an Akdom, a Nasa Nishma. They're anticipating the Nishma. In this anticipation of Nishma, they are on the ready to fulfill whatever Nishma will be. This is the Neshama. Not only on the ready whatever Nishma will be, but their anticipation of the Nishma. Their whole sense of self is the recognition that they have a divine intent in their presence. It's inherent. It's in a pnimis. It's a permeating sense, without an intelligent identification. I just said in Mishnah in Masechta Brachos. The Gemara says, why do we say, why does Ishma precedes Hoyim Shemeya? The Pasha Shema is in Pasha's voice Cham. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The Pasha Hoyim Shemeya is in Eikev. Shema is a statement that we know the unity, the Hashem Echad, and that is what we are dedicated to. Shema. We understand, and this is what we are focused on. Hoyim Shemeya speaks about the commandments that follow. Im Shemeya Tishmei Mitzvahs. If you follow the mitzvahs that I'm telling you. So Hoyim Shemeya is focused on the mitzvahs. Shema comes before Hoyim Shemeya. The Gemara says, big day in order that one must, a Yid must take upon himself, or the yoke of heaven, the yoke of the kingdom of heaven, Tchila first, before he is even given direction as to there is something for him to do. And only after that he kabbalah mitzvahs. Then afterwards he will take upon himself and accept the mitzvahs, the yoke of mitzvahs. So if he does not have mitzvahs, he was not told to do anything, where does he get the oimach hashamayim? If, so to speak, the Melech has not declared himself to him, I'm your Melech, and I want you to obey, to do this and this, what does the Oimach HaShamayim represent? What is the yoke of Malach HaShamayim if the king has not he had declared himself in terms of his relationship, in terms of what he wants from you. And yet, this is the way it is presented in the Torah. Shema precedes Hoim Shemaya. The Gemara explains, the principle in it is this, that a person, a Yid, has to be Mekabel all over Eimach Shemayim Tchila. He must recognize and accept upon himself the yoke of heaven first, before he is even given any mitzvahs. In other words, the yoke of the heaven, as we said before, is something which is inherent in the neshama. And only afterwards he will take upon himself the mitzvahs. So even with this brief introduction, you can verily see that this is something of a very special quality. It is not enough. A Yid is not one who stands up and says, okay, tell me what to do, I'm ready to do it. I want to know what is the right thing to do. The stance of a Yid is, I'm yours. V'yodua, now let's, in the middle of the third one, V'yodua, it is known, that this acceptance of the yoke of heaven, hu inyan ha-bitul ein-sof, this is the principle of the bitul to the ein-sof. The total submission to the ein-sof. But submission to the ein-sof, there are many different versions of that. A very brief, the Rebbe says, straight to the point. The bitul to ein-sof that is in the Domas Mashal and Nishma is represented in the ein-sof Baal HaRotzain, the master of the will, the source of the will. As we said before, there's a sense of bitul, whatever you want, you tell me, I'll do. Whatever you tell me I'll do is a state where I first recognize my own mitzvahs. But I have a boss. And thus, I have a function in my existence. I'm waiting for the boss to tell me what my function is. How do I know that I have a function? That's because I am mitzvahs. I have what to do. But Shema, before Vahim Shemeya, has a different implication completely. Nasa Kodem Nishma. The Nasa Kodem Nishma is the Rebbe explains. Let's follow the words. Habitul le'insoy Baal HaRotzain. To the submission to the Ein-Sof, the Baal HaRotzain, not the will as it comes to me. But the Baal HaRotzain means the boss himself, the Melech himself. Lirtzois, which means that this is reflected in the fact Lirtzois, that he wants Kol Ma Shehu Ritzoni Yisborich. Everything, anything that is Hashem's will, Bekima Mitzvos. In fulfilling the mitzvahs. The Rebbe explains. V'zehu inyan hagdomas nashel nishma. We explained, we brought down from the Gemara, that Shema precedes Vayim Shemeya. And the Gemara says that this represents the union of Kabbalah Seir Mach Shemayim, before Kabbalah and mitzvahs. And this is the principle Hakdamas Nasser Nishma. Again, how can there be Hakdamas Nasser Nishma if there is no Nishma, if there is no command? You don't even know that there is going to be a command. How are you already in a state of a Nasser? So the Rebbe explains. The Nishma, where the Nishma means we will hear and obey and understand and follow through. That's Nishma. We will hear. Who? That represents, that is a statement, lekabel, to accept, gilui rotzenis proti, the expression of rotzenis proti and specific rotzenis. Nishma is the expression of the specific rotzenis that come from the source, from the Meibashter. And Nishma means I will accept all the rotzenis. I will hear and I will follow through on what I'm commanded. This is Nishma. But then there is a much deeper, much superior aspect of beetle and relationship. There is what's called Kabbalah Seir Machashamayim. This is to obey what you're told. This is called Kabbalah Seir Mitzvahs. You are who you are, and you are being given directives as to what you have to do, and you accept and you follow through on those directives. V'hakdamas Nasser Nishma, to precede Nasser before Nishma, before you even know that there is anything to obey. This is a completely different thing. Where does that come from? So the Rebbe explains. Again, I'm at the end of the fourth line. The Nishma represents the Kabel Gili Hotzenis Proti. Nishma means I will know and hear and understand. To understand means I hear what you're saying and I understand every word what you're saying. An implication of every word. And Nishma means I understand, I accept what you're saying. Lirtzo is to want, the beginning, the fourth line, to want kol ma shehu retzeni yisborech, anything that Hashem's will, became a mitzvahs, as pertains to fulfilling the mitzvahs. That's in Nishma. I'm listening carefully to what you're telling me, and I'm discerning every word and every implication on the practical level, and I want it. I want to do whatever that contains. And then there is the beetle to answer Balorot. Okay, the end of the fourth line. The Nishma represents the Kabel Giliot and Esproti. Represents to accept the Gilo, the expression of the Tenis Protim of the specific commands, directives. Brim Cain, thus, the Habitul who? This submission, the Giliot and Esproti, the beetle is El Horotzoi. The beetle is to the will. I'm a Matthias. What I am. You have something for me to do. I'm ready to do it. That's we shall see that this is a chitzenislike aspect in the beetle. A beetle el harot. This is the nishma. The nishma. I'm learning and I know what there is to do and I'm prepared to do it. But nase koidel nishma. But then there is a Indian what's called nase that precedes the nashma precedes the nishma. Feed the nishma. We don't even know that there were any commands. So how are you in the center of nase? Who have beetle that represents the beetle? The beetle there is the oil in soif. Baal harotzoin. Baal harotzoin means the source of the rotzoin. The king himself. Not the rotzoin, what he wants from you, but who he is. This is nase koidem nishma. Who, which is so structured, which results in the fact shemekabel olov, that he takes upon himself, he accepts upon himself, bitul harotzain biklau. His personal rotzen is totally nullified. In general, not because there is anything for him to do, and because he has a command to fulfill. His personal rotzen is totally not nullified. What then is he consist in himself as a human being? It is the submission that he should have the will. Whatever he will hear from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is so submitted to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he has the will to fulfill before he doesn't even know that there is a command. But his whole stance is that his will is totally wiped away. Personal will. He's waiting to have a will because when he was told that there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants something. And that creates his will. This is the Kabbalah Sem Achashamayim before Kabbalah Sem Mitzvahs. And this is a bittul to Baal HaRotzim. And the bittul to Baal HaRotzim is that he wants whatever he will hear from the Meibasher. V'im heyois. There are a lot of subtle things over here we have to be careful. Focus in and try to get the point. Every word, every line here is in order to clarify and to reveal this extremely subtle element. V'im heyois. Although the Kabbalah Soil, Machashomayim, that the Kabbalah Sem Machshamai, that they say that precedes the Kabbalah Sem Mitzvahs. Hu loy bibchinas is galus harotz. The Kabbalah Sem Machshamayim is not a conscious will. It is not bibchinas is galus harotz. It does not express the rotz. He wants something. It's not in the center of your Ratzon. Shezeh inyan, which is in principle the inyan of Kabbalah's oil. Kabbalah's oil means accepting a yoke. What yoke? To what purpose? Coming from where? Not identified. Kabbalah's oil. There is not a Galus or Rotzen, there is not an expressed will involved in this. It is just a stance that he has a yoke. He's not his own person. Shehu bivchinas koyach ne'ala. This whole Kabbalah soil, excuse me, is bivchinas, is in a manner of koyach ne'ala, of a concealed and a subtle koyach.